No, you just call me Dr. Awwal.
Oh, okay. Anyway, welcome back to Around the World with Dane Waters. We're going to give this another try. As I said, technical gift. It's like Little Gremlins. I tell you, one of my favorite movies of all time is called The Gremlins. They get into everything and they cause all these little havoc. So, hey, it's just the worst thing that happens to us today. Then, we're lucky people. Anyway, Dr. Awa, how are you today? Good to see you.
I'm I'm fine, thank you. You're welcome. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, sorry about last week. We're still the technical difficulties from last week seem to have continued on, but it's okay. You know what? We're okay, right? We're alive and healthy and all that kind of stuff, right? So
We, we, we,
that's
we
all.
thank God for that. We thank God.
That's right. So,
Yeah.
last week, so what we were talking about last week, and the reason we want to continue this chat, because I was enjoying it last week, it's talking about the stability of West Africa, and that includes Nigeria and the rest of the region.
Yes.
And so let's just start here. What is the so just give me kind of a quick overview about your perceptions of the stability of West Africa as a whole.
Well, thank you very much once again. Like you rightly know, Africa first to start with is a great continent, and then West Africa, where my country is resided in, is also great. And West Africa, I would say, economically, we are fairly stable. Uh, kind of, I would say, fairly well, not too stable politically because of the interference of military dictatorship here and there. And but if you look at it generally, the people, as far as human beings are concerned in West Africa, I would say that we're good. The terrain is good, the environment is all right, and then the people are nobody is quite 100% happy, but at least people are fairly happy. And then, but economically, we're not too homely because of one policy or the other, or one challenge or the other, and like that. But generally, we thank God. We're human beings. We're healthy. We are alive. And then we are full of hope. For as long as you are healthy, you are alive, you are full of hopes. And then life is dynamic itself. Anything can happen anytime. Changes can occur at a very good time with a good prayer and believe that political leadership would improve. Life will improve, and then economic hardship will go down. We believe with good policies and programs, and with people generally keying into government policies and programs that are good. I believe that things will be better.
Well, this is, you bring up a very important point. First of all, I would never personally, I would never want to be a leader of a country because you're never going to make everyone happy. That's just the reality, right? So, especially in a country as large as, Nigeria, or whether it's the United States, or whether it's Europe, or even certain countries in West Africa, because, it's just impossible. No politician ever gets 100% of the vote unless they're, in a dictatorship somewhere like Russia, 99.9%. But the reality is, leading is difficult, and they have to make, leaders have to make tough decisions. And the critical component of that, though, in my opinion, is that for the leadership to be able to properly inform the people and the citizens about the importance of whatever reforms they want. I just want to put that as a side note. But do you think that, we've seen so many coups in West Africa over the last few years? I mean, what do you think? Do you think that the number of coups have subsided? Do you think that, there's an opportunity for greater stability, or do you think that countries like China and Russia are going to continue to try to destabilize West Africa? And then the question to you is going to be, do you think that there are foreign actors who are trying to destabilize Nigeria?
Oh, yes, thank you very much. I think in the last few years, West Africa has suffered a democratic downturn. When I say democratic downturn, that is the interference of dictatorship in political administration and governance. That is not good enough. For country to be stable, for country to move forward, believe me, you need political administration where every person in the country has a say, he has a right to participation, he has a right to his opinion, he has a right to associations and groupings, he has the freedom of expression to say what he feel or what he think, to disagree with policies of government and redirect the thinking of government on the better way to administer the people through voice, like I am speaking now. That is, like I said, freedom of expression, freedom of association, freedom of choice of leadership. That is the best way to go as far as leadership and governance is concerned. But in West Africa, we've had interference of dictatorship, that is military coup coming in and military governance, which is very, very unpopular among West Africa. And speaking about interference of foreign government, China, Russia, even the United States of America and other countries in the affairs of the leadership or governance of the people, you would say that a lot of challenge. Even better still, countries like America, who strongly believe in democracy, who propagate democracy and democratic government, is even better when you speak in terms of interference. In most cases, the Americans will only interfere speaking about democratic government, speaking about fair leadership, speaking about carrying every human being in a country along and governing with the rule of law. So you can give it to America when it comes like that. In any case, it's the largest democracy in the world of over 200 years of non-stop democratic leadership. But when you speak about countries like China and, of course, the countries like Russia, you can say, yes, they are democratic nations, but also because of political interest, they are interfering in one way or the other, and then trying to get their way at all means and by all costs, which is not too good, as far as we are concerned. Coming down to Nigeria, because of we are blessed by God when it comes to human and natural resources, and then the interest of these countries lying on the issue of what we have endowed, down in our country. There's expectation of interference. If you look at the most recent one in Benin Republic, where there was an attempt of military takeover. In fact, there's an announcement of military takeover of political administration, political government. But thank God to the president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who strongly believes in democracy, who has been a Democrat from day one, who has frustrated military dictatorship and military government in Nigeria. The government of late General Sani Abacha, because of his belief in democracy and under the Nadeko arrangement. Then Bola Ahmed Tinubu was not was not a minister, he was not a governor, he was not a southern senator, he was just an ordinary Nigerian citizen. But because of his belief in democracy and democratic government and governance, he frustrated the government of military government of the General Sani Abacha. He fought it tooth and nail to ensure that it did not succeed. So because of that, his belief in democracy and democratic governance, and by the special grace of God, today he's the president and elected president and commander-in-chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces by popular vote. He disagreed vehemently with the interference of military in political administration. Therefore, he had to interfere in the Benin Republic issue, where he sent in Nigerian armed forces, and by the special grace of God, they truncated that military attempt and restore democracy. That has given respect back to Nigeria as a big brother in Africa. It has given back Nigeria's respect even within the European Union in the Americas, and of course, the United Nations. I will also want to quickly remind our listeners, our viewers, that he attempted doing so when there was also a coup in Niger Republic, where a democratically elected government of Bazoum was ousted by a military government. He then, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was the chairman of ECOWAS Community of West Africa. He vehemently went after the military dictatorship in Niger Republic, and then everybody is aware of it. It's Northerners, the Northerners, the leaders of the various association and groups that vehemently disagreed with him. And we did that as at that time because of the relationship, intermarriages, relationship between Niger Republic and Nigerians from the northern extraction, interfering as at that time under that circumstances into that government would have caused a lot of, in the opinion of a lot of northern leaders, catastrophic relationship between northerners because, like I said, there are intermarriages. We've lived for hundreds of years together. There are a lot of Nigerian people in Nigeria. There are a lot of Nigerians in Niger Republic. There are intermarriages. There are birth and what have you. There are cultural relationship. There's a religious relationship. There's business relationship, and then apart from the diplomatic relationship. So we thought, as at that time, that interfering with the government in Niger Republic will bring a lot of challenges in that relationship. That was why President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's hands were folded and he was unable to do what he intended to do in Niger Republic by restoring a democratic government. And this is why today in Nigeria, we see President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the political encyclopedia of Nigeria. And of course, the political encyclopedia, he is doing everything to ensure that democracy and democratic government is sustained, not only in Nigeria, but in West Africa. I heard some Nigerians complaining when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu interfered in Benin Republic's government, that we equally have security challenges in Nigeria, but we weren't trying to restore democracy in Benin Republic. And I gave answers to those people that are insinuating that the Nigerian military should have stayed back home in Nigeria to restore our security challenges. And I told them.
Let me interrupt you there because we only have like 4 minutes here to finish this conversation. The reality is, I have to say, this is one thing I see in countries around the world is that, like even America. I love my country. I said it last week. I love America. And everyone talks about America's first, but America can only be first if you're engaged internationally. Nigeria can only survive if you're engaged internationally. I mean, you're the security stability in West Africa, and I would argue the rest of Africa as well, to try to address these issues. And the president there, Tinubu, has done a good. One thing I do want to say also, real quick, is that we talk about interference. America. Once again, I'll be very clear. I think America is dabbling and trying to cause problems in West Africa. I think America is joining with Russia and China and other unsavory characters as far as impacting what's happening there. Because what President Trump does is that President Trump says which leaders he likes and which ones he don't. I mean, that's just wrong. It's wrong for him to go there and talk about internal issues, like trying to claim that the president of Nigeria is not doing what he should be doing because, first of all, he doesn't understand everything that's happening in Nigeria. So I take great issue with the American president trying to cast doubts upon the leadership of President Tinubu. I do. I'm not saying President Tinubu is the greatest guy in the world. I mean, I've never met him, but he seems to be doing a lot of great stuff. But at the same time, America needs to get out of it. We need to protect democracy, not threaten democracy. And Nigeria, my concern. Let me just ask you this question real quick. I do have a concern that with a lot of the meddling in Nigeria, Do you think there's any chance that there could be civil war in Nigeria? Let's be honest about it. Do you think there's any chance there could be civil uprising that's prompted by foreign actors in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. That is a great question and a very sensible one at that. I can guarantee you, Nigeria, yes, we have security challenges, we have ethnic challenges, we have regional challenges, we have religious challenges, but they are all surmountable. These are challenges that are seriously surmountable. Nigeria's problem can be solved with Nigerians. Nigerians can solve their problems themselves without interference. And I can quote a one-time Secretary General of the United Nations, Butrus Gali, who said Nigeria is a God-owns country. When he was asked a question, if he retires as the Secretary General of the United Nations, where would he want to live? He said he would want to live in Nigeria because Nigeria is a God's own country. It is only in Nigeria you will see the storm going high and high, and you will think that will be the end of the country. But at the end of the day, everybody goes back home, and then we are settled, and we move on as if nothing has ever happened. So Nigerians are happy people. Nigerians are committed people. Nigerians love themselves. Nigerians will continue to live as one. Yes, we have security challenges. Yes, we have insecurity, and there are a lot of happenings. But believe me, the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing everything humanly possible to bring Nigerians together, to make sure Nigerians continue to live together. I will quote one of his statements. He said, Nigerians are members of one family living in different rooms. Now, we are members of one family living in different rooms. So when we leave the room and all come outside those rooms, we are one person, we are one people, we are Nigerians, we love ourselves. When we go back into the rooms, we talk, we lament, we complain. But immediately we're out of the rooms, we are all out on the field, we are Nigerians, and we move like Nigerians. So I don't expect that there's going to be a civil war in Nigeria. It will never happen. God forbid such a thing to happen. And I also tell you that the president is doing everything possible to ensure that Nigerians is secured. Presently, with the coming in of with the appointment of the former Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Gwabin Musa, as the Minister of Defense, and of course, the Minister of State, Dr. Bello Muhammad Matawali, who has been there even while the present Minister of Defense was the Chief of Defense Staff. I can guarantee you that Nigeria is going to be secured. And then the crops of course, the Service Chief, the Chief of Defense Staff, Olufemi Oluide, the Chief of Air Staff, Navy, Air Force, and of course the Inspector General of Police, the DI. Like Christopher Gwaribi Musa, the Minister of State Defense, Dr. Bello Mohammed Matawale, and of course, in collaboration with the NSA, are working assiduously to ensure security is sustained, that Nigerians sleep with their two eyes closed, that Nigeria is safe for business, Nigeria is safe for living, and then the business will prosper. This, with all this arrangement, and of course, recently you had the President and Commander-in-Chief ordered the Inspector General of Police for withdrawals of police from VIP so that they can come and face their constitutional responsibility. With all these arrangement on ground and a lot of strategies and re-strategizing, and of course, with the openness and the declarance of state of emergency or security in Nigeria, the government and the security heads are doing everything possible to sustain and maintain security. So there is no insinuation of possible civil war. No, God forbid, but it will never happen in Nigeria again. Nigeria will be stable. We will move forward. We have a leader who understands the country. We have a leader who understands the people. We have a leader who knows democracy. We have a leader who believes in democratic leadership. We have a leader that I repeat that I call the political encyclopedia of not only Nigeria but West Africa. Nigeria is going to be stable, and then we will move forward.
No, listen, I 100% agree. Listen, I think that the government, once again, this is what the people of Nigeria, and not just Nigeria, every country need to understand. It's difficult ruling a country, especially what we have in Nigeria, and we've seen throughout West Africa. There's foreign actors interfering. You got Russia. Listen, global instability is Russia's friend. Global chaos is Russia's friend. The more coups you see in West Africa, the instability of any country helps Russia because it distracts other world countries to try to help solve those problems. So, and China's the
Exactly.
same way. China does it a little bit more financially and economically, but these players, they're trying. Listen, Nigeria is in the crosshairs of the evil empire. They really are because it has natural resources, as you said,
Mm.
natural resources, has people resources. It's strategically located in West Africa. It's got access to ports. I mean, it's a Nigerians should be proud of their country about how much it has. There are difficulties, no doubt about it. There are economic issues. There are no doubt about it. But these issues are not going to be fixed overnight. They're not. And the current president, I believe President Tinubu, is doing everything he can to address these. But Nigerians, and I assume that you will support this statement, Nigerians need to be aware that other countries want them to be in chaos. Other countries want Nigerians to fight, okay? And it's so easy. And I love your analogy about going to other rooms. I mean, you're right. You are one family. You do go to different rooms, but sometimes when you leave one room, a bad actor will come into that room and try to cause trouble. Nigerians have to stay firm, especially in the world that we have now, because the bad actors around the world are trying to cause chaos, and Nigeria is in the crosshairs, and the president and the NSA and others are doing everything they can do to try to keep the country together. And that also means that you have to watch out what's happening in your neighbors, because if you have bad actors on your borders, that's going to make life difficult as well. So it's not an easy solution, and I applaud all those that are working toward it. But let me just ask you this. We got 1 minute, so answer this question. What do you think right now is the greatest threat to Nigeria and West African security?
Well, the greatest threat is the interference of non actors, those, like you rightly put, countries that are only after the natural resources of Nigeria, the endowment that God has given us under the earth. Those countries are after the economic, wanted to control Nigeria's economy, are interfering into Nigerian affairs. So they are doing everything possible to ensure that Nigeria and Nigerians are not at peace, so that they can come in and then steal what God has given to us. Also, they are trying to create chaos. If you look at all this, what is happening right now between Boko Haram, banditry, and what have you, it is not a Nigerian way of life. It is not a Nigerian thing. These things are being sponsored by people who do not want to see Nigeria live in peace, by people who do not want to distract the attention of government, distract the attention of the people towards trying to find a security solution while they are doing other things. There are countries that are at war and are trying to distract the attention of the world from them by instigating another war or civil war or unrest or security challenges in the major countries of the world. Nigeria is one of the largest, in fact, is the largest black nation in the world, and of course, one of the most powerful economy. What God has blessed Nigeria with, a lot of countries do not have. I hit my chest to say this. The gold deposit, Nigeria's gold deposit in Zamfara State, and the gold deposit in Birningwari in Kaduna State is more than what you have put together in Ghana and South Africa. Don't forget, Ghana depends on gold. South Africa is also hitting itself about gold. But the gold deposit in Birningwari alone in Kaduna is more than put together that of South Africa and Ghana. The gold deposit in Zamfara is put together is more than that of South Africa and Ghana. So you can see how much gold deposit and natural resources that Nigeria has. And also the oil reserve that we have in the Lake Chad Basin put together is more than what we have in the Niger Delta region all put together. So therefore there must be distraction, and this distraction is deliberate, so that this country will not be living in peace, so that we will not have opportunity to harness what God has blessed us. Because if Nigeria is allowed to live the way it's supposed to live without trouble, believe me, in 10 years Nigeria will be greater than Dubai, because we have what it takes to be greater than it.
Listen, I agree. I agree. Sadly, we're out of time, but I agree 100% with what you're saying. And it's important for Nigerians to understand that because you're blessed with so much, because you have so much great natural resources, there are people who want to take it away from you. Okay. And this is why
Exactly.
they're going to try to divide that country, cause political issues, cause economic issues for their own personal gain. And I just implore all Nigerians to understand that, what you see sometimes is not exactly what's happening. You get bad actors trying to take advantage of Nigeria. And it's it's
Different.
it's not just Russia and China. I have to say it's not just Russia and China. Listen, Doctor, it's a great pleasure. It really is. I love our conversations. At least we got
Thank you.
more tape today than we did last time. But hopefully
Yeah.
you'll come back on the show. And
I,
anyway,
I,
thanks for being with Dane
thank,
Waters
thank,
around the world with Dane Waters. And
thank you
we
very
will
much.
see you next week. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, all the wonderful holidays. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I'm available any day, anytime. Thank you.